Hello and welcome back in the Gourmet Gambit. Surf and turf ramen, my friends. That's on the menu. And we're gonna make it all from scratch, with the exception of the ramen noodles. A little thing about the ramen noodles, of course you can use the instant ramen noodles, but I really recommend you to choose a good quality ramen. Now we got quite some things to do in the kitchen, and it all starts the day before. We're gonna need some chicken broth to make our dashi. To make it easy, you can buy chicken broth in the store, of course. There is one cheap way to get the best ever chicken broth, and that is to preserve the bones and the leftover of roasted chicken. Use a large pan, 3/4 of water, add the chicken bones. We're going to bring it to the boiling point and we're going to let it simmer for 2 hours. Our chicken stock is filtered. We're going to keep it in the refrigerator overnight. In the meantime, we're going to make our marinade, also called Tare, and we're going to use some good parts of ginger, 200 grams of cane sugar, 5 to 6 cloves, a teaspoon of green sancho peppercorns, 200 milliliters of mirin cooking wine, 300 milliliters of light soy sauce, 200 milliliters of sake. We got 2 spring onions and about half a liter of water. We're just going to crush the garlic. Cut the ginger in slices, spring onions, take a large pot, everything goes in, the mirin wine, the sake, soy sauce, sancho peppercorns, 200 grams of cane sugar, and the water. We're going to bring our mixture to the boiling point. Once the marinade is on the boiling point, we're going to lower the heat and we're going to let it simmer for about 1 hour. Our marinade has finished cooking and we're going to let it completely cool down. To make our Layu chili oil, we're going to need some garlic cloves, 3 to 4, a piece of ginger, a good amount of chilies, 25 to 30 I would say, 150 milliliters of pure sesame oil, and I'm going to use about 300 milliliters of soy oil. It doesn't need to be soy oil specifically, you can also use rice oil or another vegetable oil if you like. Chop everything grossly. I'm going to put this all in a saucepan. We're going to add the soy oil or soya oil, but we're going to add our sesame oil later on. We're going to warm up the chili oil up to 90 degrees Celsius, that's about 180 degrees Fahrenheit. We don't want to fry the chili and the other ingredients, we just want them to release all their flavors in the oil. So we're going to maintain 90 degrees Celsius for about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. Once the chili oil is cooled down, add the sesame oil, and we're going to preserve this in a jar. Store it in your refrigerator and just take it out half an hour before serving. Time to prepare the eggs. High heat, and we're going to get our water to the boiling point. The eggs have to be very cold, have to come out straight out of your refrigerator. Once the water is really boiling well, put the cold eggs in there. And we're going to boil them for 6 minutes, no more. Place the egg immediately in ice cold water and let them cool down completely before peeling. As for the turf, I'm going to use a very nice piece of beef tenderloin, but of course you can choose your own favorite cut of beef. The marinade has completely cooled down and we're going to add our piece of beef in the marinade, and we're going to add our eggs too, and this is all going to marinate overnight. So we're the next day and we're going to take out the meat from the marinade and we're going to keep aside the eggs with the marinade. Now it's time to finish our dashi. So of course we got our chicken broth. We're going to need some kombu seaweed. I got about 15 dried shiitake mushrooms, 5 leaves from the sakura cherry tree, And I got about 20 grams of katsuobushi, which are dried and smoked bonito flakes. So we're going to start by reducing our chicken broth, medium heat. Once the broth boils, lower the heat and let it cook for about 30 minutes. So 20 minutes later, it's quite reduced. We're going to add our shiitake mushrooms. We're also going to add the leaves from the sakura cherry tree. And we're going to let it cook for another 10 minutes, and this time with the lid on. So after 10 minutes the mushrooms must be quite tender, and we're going to take them out and preserve them. We're going to kill the heat and we're going to add the 2 kombu sheets, and we're going to let them for 5 minutes. If you want a more umami flavor, leave them 10 minutes. After 5 minutes, take out the kombu sheets, add the smoked bonito flakes, and we're going to let them soak for another 5 minutes. Then after 5 minutes we're going to filter the stock again. Add a little bit of oil in the frying pan, medium-high heat, and we're going to sear the beef on both sides. About 3 to 4 minutes each side. The marinade back in our cooking pot. We're going to add the beef. We're going to warm up the marinade on medium heat. Once the marinade starts cooking, lower the heat. And we're going to let our beef simmer for about 5 minutes on each side. In the meantime, we're going to peel the shrimps. You can leave the tail on or peel them completely. Filter what's left of the marinade. We got our dashi back in the cooking pot and we're going to warm it up on medium heat. And at the same time we're going to add spoon by spoon some marinade, and you just want to give it a taste test every time. That becomes very good already. Just a teaspoon of course sea salt. Now that we got the right flavor, we continue to heat it up. Cut the meat in thin slices. We're just going to cook our shrimps for 30 seconds, no more. Here we go. As it comes to the ramen, I recommend you read the notice about their cooking time. Finally, for the serving, I'm going to add some marinated daikon and some chopped chive. Here we got our serve and serve ramen. It was a nice experience to do this, but it's quite a job to do. So I'm surely not going to do this every day, that's for sure. But it was quite a nice experience to do it all from scratch, and especially how all the flavors really worked out. So my dear friends, all there's left to say is bon appetit and see you back soon. I hope you enjoyed the video and it was useful for you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And hit that bell, it's a great motivation for me. And as this story ends, my dear friends, all there's left to say, bon appetit and see you back soon.